With us, and we're actually going to kick it off right now with a topic regarding Standing Rock, and we're lucky to have Regan here. Ash, you had an opportunity to go to Standing Rock, so tell us a little bit about what you experienced.
Well, it's interesting because a number of our staff members have traveled to Standing Rock. It was Kevin first, and then Dakota Access Perkins and I went down just last week. We got back, and you know, it's really amazing because in light of all of the recent circumstances that have surfaced in the last couple of days, we're taping here on a Tuesday, so by the time sometimes it gets to air, we're a little bit delayed, but there's been a lot of things that have gone down in the past few days. But when we were there the week prior, it was pretty peaceful. And going into the camp is like just really amazing when you come over that hill and you see like the, you know, just the view of all of the teepees and the tents, and you just have this really proud moment, you know, that you're there, and it's an indigenous movement.
You're a part of the movement. That's huge.
It's just
the movement's
such a reality, exactly. And, you know, and there was times though when it was really overwhelming because being there and watching it unfold on TV is completely two different things. So being there is just a sense of hearing everybody's stories. And getting all of that emotion from people was just overwhelming. Some days we would finish and we were exhausted because we're there, and hearing people talk about why they feel this movement is so important and why, you know, hearing about some of the experiences of people being on the front lines. I mean, it's no joke. Like, we went down to the bridge area where, I don't know if you guys recall, but there was a number of vehicles that were set on fire on the bridge. And so we walked down there, and I just couldn't believe the military force and the police force on the other side of these vehicles for a camp that's being peaceful. And we walked down, and it was like, we're going to roll some footage right now, but it was really awesome. But on the other side of that barbed wire fence that went right into the water, and that's where that pipeline is coming through, right? So they were like standing there with guns and their Hummers, and there was people parked on the hills that were, you know, watching us with binoculars. So it was just extremely like peaceful, and then military force and police force. So it's not really a joke when people are saying, listen, you may not be seeing this because mainstream media is not reporting on it, but this is really happening. So now to fast forward into what's been going on the last couple of days, where, you know, when you're seeing this unfold on live media on Facebook, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but don't you feel kind of like helpless just watching it?
Yes.
Like, what is some of your reactions watching this video footage and people are getting, you know, maced and tear gas and water cannons? Like, what do you guys feel?
I think for me, it's a lot of anger. And I do feel helpless because I'm watching it on social media in the comfort of my own home. And I just have a lot of respect for the people that have taken the opportunity to go out there. But there's also a level of frustration as well because the media is just depicting a whole different story, saying that we're rioting and that people are out there causing trouble and that they're only protecting themselves, which is a complete farce.
Yeah.
I mean, from live video, you can see all this stuff, and they're even denying that there was tear gas, denying water cannons without there. Come on, we watched it.
The worst part
70,000 people watched it.
Totally. It was actually, at one point, I think it even got to, well, right now there's that one video that went viral, and it was at 3 million views. But reading all the fallout from HLN, and I think CNN was the one that infuriated me the most, because they were using the sheriff's office, Morton County Sheriff, as their only source. And I was like, they're not even credible, given the fact that they've used and have a number of complaints against them for like force that is unnecessary. But CNN, like, come on, it was so disappointing.
Well, they're denial. They're complete denial. And people are actually posting on Facebook the clip of people posting, tagging CNN. And CNN's kind of doing that. Well, if there's, you know, if you want to post more on information on maybe news channel or whatnot, it was complete denial. It was complete denial on their part.
And there's so many people from Akwesasne that they're down there. You know, you have Stephen Thompson Oakes who's down there, Brittany Bonaparte who's with ATV, but she traveled there on her own time. She posted a picture of her, Loran Thompson, Francis Boots, Gahandadi, Thompson. There
One
was
of the Thompson boys, right? The
yeah,
lacrosse
Scandity.
Thompsons.
Yeah, oh,
No.
lacrosse Thompson.
Yeah, Miles.
Miles, one of them.
There's actually a Haudenosaunee camp where people from the Six Nations and the Confederacy are coming. They are taking care of that camp. They are there protecting, helping to protect. And when we were there, people were asking us, well, when are the Mohawks coming? Or when is the
Right.
Confederacy coming? So we know, like, you know, I know that at Grand Council right now, this is up for discussion. I know that our longhouses between Akwesasne, Ganawage, and Six Nations, they're discussing this because when the Mohawks are actually,
Right.
when the Iroquois show up, then we know, like, okay, we mean business, you know what I mean? Because we think about these things. So there's a lot of political support. And I just think that, you know, across the nation, here in North America, people need to push their tribes or even their traditional councils to solidify, to you know, come together and push that Obama administration to step up to the plate and say, listen, you promised us a lot of things. This is a huge issue. Are you going to let this become an international crisis?
But here's the thing.
We're
even
there.
if-
Think
but
that just because it's the end of his term that he's just going to let it rest. Like,
there is
why
responsibility
bother?
at that presidential
Huge
level.
mistake.
But here's my thing too: is like you can get the support from so many people, but when the government is being shaded onto what's actually going on because of media's, I mean, here's that thing: media has been such a huge focus, but they're not reporting to what's actually going on. It's such, let's sweep it under the rug.
It's limited.
And what they did to people, that's against your civil rights. When
Well,
you're
the UN
peaceful,
has already stepped in. They're already
and the
like,
poor girl that's
assessing
going to
the
have her arm
situation.
amputated. I don't know if she had her arm amputated or not, but I mean, come on,
They're working
that
on
was
it.
Yeah.
severe
Little by little.
trauma, physical
Yeah.
trauma that this girl suffered, and elders and youth that are there. I mean, my sister and I sat there and we cried watching that.
Yeah.
Because whether you're there or not, the emotion is so huge.
Well, you're
can't
seeing it
even watch
unfold
it.
on social media, and people are, you know, are commenting in those little bars that, you know, when you're watching a video, everybody's commenting. But it's really.
I give a lot of
you know,
credit to that
it's
Kevin
real.
guy because I mean he kept saying, you know, this might break up, but you know, stay with me, and
Yeah.
it did break
And
up for 3-4
yes.
minutes, but it came back and it got right back up to 80,000 views
He
because
kept
people want to
going.
see that.
Yeah, he kept going. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but where do we go from here? Because winter is setting in. You know, Morton County Sheriff's Office is now saying, oh, well, they're not supposed to be there because they can't set up teepees and tents. It's unlawful, and you know, anything at this point just to, you know, I think in terms of just trying to say we have to stop this somehow and we're going to justify the force that we're using to stop it. It's just really uncalled for. So I think everybody, if you can support Standing Rock, do it. There's a number of ways. You can follow the Standing Rock page on social media and get involved. Let your voice be heard because this is an important issue.
And you know, and with that you bring up a really good point. I mean, there is a way of following just on social media, but also writing to the president, writing to your county legislature, making sure your voice is heard. But we wanted
Pulling
to
your money out of the major banks. That's the big one. Go back to your credit unions. Pulling your money out
Correct.
of the major banks.
And I think it's so big for people to really understand the economy of this, though. So when you see videos like, oh, go to your bank, and they're not talking about, you know, just do it because it's a movement. It's because this is what's being fueled by, you know, nobody stopping this. It's because it does boil down to money.
It's all money.
Let's get
It's
real.
all money.
You
Yep.
know, like
That's all
yeah.
it is.
Right.
Yo honey, yo honey, yo honey, yo honey.